Everybody, what's up? So I do actually have an interesting question. I don't know if anyone's asked this before. So yeah, what would your life be without video games? If you want to make a video response, do it. If you want to leave a comment below, be more than free to do so. Because I would really like to know people's answers to this. For me, it would be kind of a different thing because I love to read books so much that I kind of feel like in one way aspect, I wouldn't miss them, had they never been created. But on the other hand, with there being so many games that I love in that I played over the years, it would kind of suck to never have had that experience. For example, like with the Sam and Max franchise, whether we're talking about, the LucasArts version, whether it be, the Telltale games, or Leisure Suit Larry, Altered Beast, Phoenix Wright series, that would royal and even Cat Quest, that would royally suck to never having known the joys of those games. Um, in in a way, like if you live in this alternative reality, right, where video games don't exist, and somehow you get a message through that, hey, there is these things called video games, and you're like, what? Never heard of them. You're like, yeah, they're cool. Come over to our side and you want to play them, right? And you go over there and you're like, holy crap, these are fun in that. I wish I had these. And you get sent back and you're going, man, this sucks. Like, oh, I want to play more. I want to find out what there is. And so, in a way, that would definitely be an interesting scenario. But at the same time, we know, I mean, that probably wouldn't happen, even though it would be cool. So yeah, definitely for me, that would be part of it. I know I would never have played those wonderful games. For me, also though, video games, in a way, are kind of therapeutic. What do I mean by that? When you have a lot of health problems and you need a little bit of an escape from everything you deal with, you kind of, in a way, need those. They help you, like depending on what the situation is like. Maybe you want a fighter or a shmup, depending on what's going on, how you're feeling, get rid of that aggravation, that aggression that you have build up because you're just tired of everything. Um, like if you're someone who likes to learn, maybe you like to think a lot, crossword puzzles and games are really helpful because like they have really interesting ones, people like Sudoku, um, which I would consider to be, like apps games. So, you get the point. So really, that would suck also because you wouldn't have these learning experiences. I've seen games that help teach different languages in that. So you kind of wonder, like how that would happen. Although I'd probably be thankful, kind of, that we wouldn't have to deal with the video game, the Oregon Trail in school. Yes, I played that in school many, many years ago, back when the Oregon Trail was still a thing. I'm sorry, I get myself. But yeah, I mean, okay, that would actually be a good thing in a way. But it knowing how much they can be teaching tool as well in different aspects, you're kind of like, not knowing about them, how you learn could be different as well. Like there was typing of the dead, which I didn't have. I can do over 60 words a minute, but so now going from high school on, I had to do that. So obviously, well, not having that experience playing the game, it might have helped my typing skills as well further on. And like we had a kind of like a typing game in typing class. We actually used computers, believe it or not, but this is back in the day of dot matrix printers. Those things sucked. So obviously, that probably will, having that may not have helped my typing skills. But I know for other people, they wouldn't have those memories of playing those games with family and all this other stuff, things that make a connection. I wouldn't have meeting a lot of the wonderful people that I met on YouTube, like for example, through the gaming community and that. And there just wouldn't be much connection. And so people wouldn't have those things in common that they can talk about. Obviously, a lot of gamers that I know are into things like wrestling, for example, movies, music. So in that respect, maybe you have met those people, depending on, the things that they like. So yeah, it's definitely one of those things that, when you stop and think about it, it would be scary not to think about there being video games. Um, but yeah, that's really all I could think of. But I just want to hear other people's opinions because really it gets you thinking. And you wonder how other people's lives would be affected, even if it's like a hypothetical situation. But still, you never know. Talk to y'all later. Take care. Bye.